We recently ranked the entire Assassin's Creed series, going all the way back to the first one in 2007 to the most recent one, Valhalla.
Do not go anywhere. I will only do this once.
Gene and I we have big opinions on this series. We have both been enjoying it for many, many years. We're mega fans. We have taken the time to separately rank out which games are our favorites because we couldn't make a definitive list. We have too many divisive opinions. Number one for me is Assassin's Creed 2, which I call the definitive Assassin's Creed. Big on stealth and a big evolution from the previous game. You got Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where you feel like extremely powerful and you've got a whole brotherhood that comes in to help you just at the click of a button. Assassin's Creed Black Flag at number 3, which takes place in the Caribbean. A beautiful, incredible open world with naval combat. It's awesome. Assassin's Creed Syndicate at number 4, which takes place in the Industrial Revolution. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the newest of the series, at number 5. It made it to my top 5, so the Viking Age is awesome. Assassin's Creed Odyssey at number 6 had the inclusion of abilities and combat. I just found it was a really incredible open world. Assassin's Creed at number 7, that's the original foundation of the series. That's where all of the lore and story comes from. Assassin's Creed Revelations. I feel like that was really the ode to Ezio, the charming protagonist that we had for the beginning of the series. Assassin's Creed Origin at number 9. This was the first time the Assassin's Creed series went into deeper RPG mechanics, which I felt kind of iffy on. At number 10, unfortunately, I don't remember that much about it. And Assassin's Creed 3, which was not a great game. Assassin's Creed Unity at number 12, which I find has the worst controls of all the games.
My number one pick was Brotherhood because I just really felt like it was the most solid one. It was a better version of 2, which was so revolutionary in terms of establishing the open world format. Number 2 for me is Black Flag. Simply put, it felt like bloody Wind Waker. It felt like I'm exploring the actual seas. That feeling of discovery never really came back in the series. Number 3 for me is a sleeper hit, Assassin's Creed Unity. I consider it the last real Assassin's game. It's the last game that actually still cared about assassination missions, real historical figures at the centerpiece. But I do agree with everyone else that this story is pretty sucky. Assassin's Creed 2, it was the one that established basically the whole formula. It was such a huge marked improvement over part 1. Number 5 is Assassin's Creed Revelations, and I have it so high up because I like the story so much. Completely the opposite from Unity. I thought Revelations was pretty bland in terms of storytelling, but like you said, Elise, it was such a great ode to Ezio, the series favorite, that I just couldn't help but love it. Number 6 is Valhalla. It's still in flux for me, but I still think that I like it better than Origins. It seems to be the best version of this new RPG format that they're going for. Number 7, Assassin's Creed Origins. I have a huge bias for the Egypt location, and I just really enjoy how they created the world there. Number 8 is Assassin's Creed. I don't think we've ever really seen a game like that before back in the day, so it was pretty incredible to see. Number 9 is Odyssey, and it's not a game that I really enjoyed that much. There's just a ton of content, and that's both the good thing and bad thing about it. Number 10 is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. For me, the combat is actually kind of the weakest in the series. 11 is Assassin's Creed Rogue. It's got the Black Flag skeleton. And like Lise, I really remember nothing about it. And in last place is Assassin's Creed 3. The big stain on it is the big 7 and 8 hour tutorial at the beginning. So that's our list. I think when you look at both of our lists and how different a lot of it is, except for like maybe the 3 or 4 games, the biggest split is during the Unity and Syndicate era.
I feel like we're so similar on some things and so different on others. Like both of us are, like, I hate the word purists, but we both enjoy those older Assassin's Creed games, you know, like the polished stealth and the parkour and those, you know, black box missions where you're like going and assassinating someone in particular and like running away from like a mass of guards. Like that stuff was so much fun.
The stuff you saw in the first trailer, right? Where you go in and then like just a bunch of guys, you feel like Aladdin in the streets, which is awesome. You know?
It's the best feeling. I remember being so hesitant with Odyssey of that like big RPG change. I was like, this is not Assassin's Creed. This sucks. And then really where I started coming around more on it has been with Valhalla. Is I'm just like, maybe this actually does work if they're able to balance some of that stuff out, you know, with some of the older mechanics and some newer mechanics as well. So I love Assassin's Creed in general. It's a series that is very divisive. You know, I look at our lists and it's not uncommon. I mean, you know, when we posted this on Twitter, everyone had a different opinion. Every single person. Like Assassin's Creed 3, some people wanted that higher. And I was surprised to hear that.
Yeah, well, I mentioned that Connor has a big fan base, you know. So there are so many things in each game to love, right? Even in Assassin's Creed 3, a game that we both don't like. But our biggest difference, I think, is between Unity and Syndicate. That I don't like Syndicate as much, and you don't like Unity as much, and you love Syndicate, and I love Unity. What was it about Syndicate that you liked so much?
This was the first time where we had dual protagonists, and I just would love that to come back. I thought it was such a neat idea where they both have their own skills, their own skill trees.
Separate personalities, right?
Yeah, for storytelling, for gameplay. They could have done more, I think, with just making them feel different from each other, but I think the idea was there, and that's something I want to see executed again. But really what I loved about Syndicate the most was the setting, so the industrial area, but also how you go around the city, you know, going around London just by, you've got that like rope launcher that you just shoots out of your arm and you can zip across the city with ease. I think Assassin's Creed has really excelled at traversal, but then you have something like Syndicate that just takes it to another level, where previously it always felt a little clunky, you know, having to kind of one at a time, like hold on to one brick at a time. Whereas this is just, it's a different level. And that's what I enjoyed the most about it, was just the exploration.
I think that my problem is that they did try to create some set pieces as opposed to try to keep it within the open world, like those assassination missions, which were really fun in the Syndicate, but they boxed them out of the open world. And then Jacob Frey and Evie Frey both had separate missions.
Yes.
And Jacob had more of them, which was disappointing. Yeah. And with the focus on the grappling hook, they scaled back the parkour that they really nailed, I think, in Assassin's Creed Unity. And that's why it's so high for me. I love being able to like walk through crowds like this or jumping from roof to roof. And for me, Unity gave the best animations, the best freedom of movement. It's clunky. It really is clunky, but because they put so much animation into it that I don't think they really were able to figure out like what to do, I guess.
I feel like that's one of my main problems with it, actually, is it looks so good, but it feels so bad. Yeah. And that's what I find so frustrating about Unity.
I think the thing is that Assassin's Creed has always felt clunky. Ever since part 1 to Valhalla. Like Valhalla still feels clunky to me too. Like, it does. I'm making Eivor look like an idiot most of the time. So.
It does. I feel like in Unity, it was at its worst from my point of view.
Yeah. The thing I hate about Unity is the story. That it really did nothing with the French Revolution, which was so disappointing. It's really similar to Assassin's Creed 3, where they really didn't do much with the American Revolution either. You're just kind of like Forrest Gumping through history, and you're just kind of there. Assassin's Creed Unity is probably the worst story in the series.
It has some interesting connections to other Assassin's Creed games, like especially Rogue. But
oh yes, both came out at the same time because Rogue was supposed to be the last gen game.
It was a weird time for Ubisoft.
It was weird, yeah.
Just like they were going way too all in with the annual releases, and people were like 2 Assassin's Creed games in 1 year.
That was really the time. Yes, that was really the time when we're like, maybe that's cool. Why do we need 2 Assassin's Creed games?
That's when it started to fall apart a little bit, I think. That's when everyone was like, I have series fatigue with Assassin's Creed.
How did you feel when you actually played Assassin's Creed Origins? This attempt to kind of mimic a Witcher 3 like world, but still be assassinating.
I was not a fan at all.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh no, I don't like this. Like, I didn't like the combat. The deeper RPG stuff just wasn't grabbing me. It felt way too much of a departure from what I knew.
I didn't like the combat either. For me, Assassin's Creed was all about like assassins countering. You can't touch these guys, you know? They're untouchable. They're like John Wick. Pat, 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 you know? So that power trip, which is why I love Brotherhood so much.
Just how overpowered that hidden blade was, how good you would feel. I feel like Brotherhood got that the best. It was just so much fun to just like plow through all these different enemies.
He was a god, and I miss that feeling. And even Unity doesn't really have that feeling. Unity was actually pretty difficult in terms of challenge, and I think that's when they started to really move away from the hidden blade type of combat.
Yeah, and I think looking at like Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla, the combat does also feel tougher there too than like the old Assassin's Creed games, which definitely isn't a bad thing. But I think what helped me turn me around on the combat was in Odyssey when you had more of those abilities. Here you equip like 8 abilities at once, which I like a lot more. And I think in Valhalla, they also just feel more grounded than they did in Odyssey, which went to like crazy
teleporting all over the place. Yeah.
Demigod, weird crap.
What I didn't like was the level progression. The fact that no matter how much you play, the game was always going to be harder. Even if you're going to fight a boar, that boar is going to be a level 99 boar. That really takes the immersion out of me when I'm trying to get lost in this beautiful Greece world that they created. Like, hold on a second, I got to kill these boars real quick. It's taking a while. I don't want to worry about builds in an Assassin's Creed game, because the only build I want to be in an Assassin's Creed game is an assassin. So, you know, that's it, you know.
Both Origins and Odyssey had so much grinding too. Like there was a lot of like gated progression.
Origins had a huge problem with gating too.
Whereas I'm playing Valhalla now, I'm 50 hours, maybe a little more. I haven't been doing any grinding, like not once.
It's because the quests are a lot more fun. They're a lot more engaging. They don't feel like ticks.
And that's probably it too, right? Like the side quests aren't even really quests. They're moments that happen kind of organically in the world that you can either engage with or not.
I think they were really struggling with how to make those quests interesting, and they struggled with that in Origins, and they struggled with that in Odyssey as well. Because Odyssey was just like unlimited, you know.
Just also, those worlds were so bloated with stuff.
They were so massive, and it just took forever to get through.
And it's not that Valhalla is also huge, you know. I was surprised by that. I was expecting some sort of more condensed version of the previous games.
They told me this is smaller. This certainly doesn't feel smaller.
I'm easily putting in 100 hours to Valhalla. Yeah,
they've figured out how to manage the bloat better than really cutting back on it, I think. Which I think is good on them, because AC Valhalla does feel like a smarter, more polished product than the Origins and Odyssey was.
Here's a question, Jane. Which entry would you say handles Assassin's Creed lore best?
Ooh, I think it might be 2 because of how much it expanded. I always go back to 2.
Really excellent balance between like modern day sequences and then the historical sequences. You
know what I really enjoyed was a Black Flag's approach to it. You're just a game tester, and so here's a bunch of stuff, and I was like, yes, this is it. This is how you continue Assassin's Creed. We're just a bunch of game testers, and we're just playing the game in the game. And
it was so weird to be in first person, though.
I didn't like that part. That's true.
It felt like that was their answer to not having like a mainstay like protagonist in the modern era, which is, I don't know, it just felt odd to me.
I think that's why Assassin's Creed 3 is last in our place, because ever since that story happened, like it doesn't seem like that they seem to know what to do anymore, because Assassin's Creed 3 was supposed to be the end of the trilogy, right?
Right.
I remember being disappointed because there's so much left to answer, and they really didn't wrap up the series.
I feel like it was almost an inside joke at that point of like Assassin's Creed just never answers anything. Like there's all these mysteries, and it's just like, what is going on? The lore has just become unruly. I feel like there's too much of it. There's too much of it, and there's too many different angles, too many different mediums. I'm just like, it's become overload. I don't feel like they're putting that much emphasis on the modern day story stuff.
Yeah, and it's real disappointing.
It's part of the Assassin's Creed DNA. this isn't just a historical tourism open world series. It's a sci-fi series.
It's a mystery. It's a
really
mystery.
Weird mythical mysteries to it. About ancient beings and civilizations that are long gone. And that's the stuff that grabbed me. You remember, I think it was in Assassin's Creed 2, there were side missions to do and you'd find those videos of Adam and Eve.
It was so creepy.
Oh my God. I remember like being in my parents' basement, just like glued to the screen. I was just like, I need every piece of these videos and I need to understand what it means. And then I finally got it all and I was just like, what the hell does this mean? I don't understand.
My first thought was Adam and Eve were assassins. So
They moved like assassins. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, every assassin is just a descendant of Adam and Eve because they can just climb anything, you know?
They've been around since the beginning of humanity.
Yeah. I miss the mystery part of it, right? I miss feeling like we're not just there to be in Egypt or just to be in Greece or whatever like that. We're there to find something, right? Origins really didn't do it that much. Odyssey, I barely remember. And Valhalla seems to be really, really heavy on it, which is exciting. I think both of us are not getting exactly what we want. That's kind of hard.
I don't think we ever will, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, clearly Ubisoft is investing more and more into those RPG resources, which isn't bad. If they're able to go forward and still honor the series, like, I really appreciate what they're doing with the lore in Valhalla. I appreciate some more attention to bringing back like the Hidden Blade, for example, and making that actually kind of work. Like Ivor, like being like, what the hell is this? Like, I'm not gonna hide a blade. I'm just gonna stab people. No. But then she does. She learns the way of the assassins.
You got it right when you said focus. Even though I love Black Flag so much, I think everyone's love of the seafaring part, Ubisoft tends to kind of latch onto things that really work well, and they roll that into the next game. Like, we don't need boats in every game, you know? I miss the focus of the series. That's what I miss the most. That's why they make up my top three: Brotherhood, Black Flag, and Unity, because they're just so focused on the assassin experience and not muddled with any other kind of system that I think the rest of the series has. And I think that's why, again, Assassin's Creed Unity is so high up. So
I understand that sentiment, and I would empathize more if it was a good game.
Are we really gonna leave it like that? No way.
Come on, it was funny.